Lawrence, Nick here, and
Kevin.
Yes, we're about to watch the Infinity War. It's been 10 years.
My body is ready.
I don't think I'm ready yet, to be honest with you. I'm completely anxious right now, not because of things that might happen in it, but it's been how many years? 10 years now.
Well, it's been teased for 6 years because Thanos first appeared in Avengers.
Oh, of course, yes, Avengers, yeah. But I mean, the entire
But the
MCU.
entire thing is building up to this. 10 years in the making, yeah.
And you've been a huge fan of comics since day one. I only started becoming a fan because of this, so yeah. If you must be quite astronomical, like kind of thing.
Yeah, geeking out of all the things you've been dreaming about seeing on screen.
Yeah, so hopefully this is going to be good. We'll catch you guys later. Bye! Hi guys, so I've just got back from Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, and I'm trying to work out how to, I'm trying to work out how to do this.
That was intense, and I think such a great way to kind of culminate the Marvel sort of plot line up to this point. Wow.
What about you, Curve?
Go on Google a GIF of Community with Troy saying "my emotions." That sums up the entire movie right there.
Cheers, guys! This is one of the hardest movies to review. Firstly, I'm still in shock, as you can probably see. And I went onto the waterfront, that's where the screening was. It's about a, 10-kilometer drive, if that, 7.5. And driving back is not a good idea. You should really wait for an hour or two. We actually had a burger afterwards, and that wasn't really long enough because I was distracted. I probably really shouldn't have been on the road. I wasn't drinking, but yeah, this is a really tricky one. The movie is mind-blowing. It's unlike anything that you've probably ever seen, and I think the only way you can actually appreciate that is if you have watched all the other movies. Some of us were talking about whether someone who walks in off the street, as it were, watches this movie, whether they would know what's going on. I think they would think it's the best action movie that they've ever seen, and I will say that about this movie. It's the best action movie I've ever seen. We knew that this was going to be a movie like that after the Russo brothers did such a fantastic job with Winter Soldier, and then afterwards, of course, with Civil War. So, yeah, stood in shock. Firstly, I did, as you saw earlier, I did a video about spoilers. There won't be any spoilers in this, so don't worry about that at all. Not going to be any spoilers, which means that I'm probably not going to be able to talk much about the actual story. Just certain elements of what made it great, and some things I think that didn't really work. And I'm not elements of the story, I'm talking about things like plotting, pacing, acting, whether it's funny, whether it's dark, etc., etc. So let me start off by saying it has all your favourites in it, of course, except one, but I think everyone can kind of guess who that is because he hasn't been in any of the promo material, so it's not really a spoiler. It has everybody in and we're looking at 10 years worth of characters here, from of course the first movie with Robert Downey Jr. all the way up to the last one, which was Thor Ragnarok, which was absolutely brilliant. Sorry, Black Panther, I lied, Black Panther after Thor Ragnarok. So this movie really does do its job. A lot of people wondered how, even with the running time of 2.5 hours, they were going to cram in all these characters, and they do a very good job of it, so don't worry about that. They certainly don't go into the characters' backgrounds, because we've already seen that. Each character had their own movie, so that is the fleshing out. Not each character, but most characters had their own movies. Characters like Black Widow appears in quite a few movies, but she hasn't had her own movie, of course. So they're all in this, and they all get their own airtime, as it were. I would say that the focus is definitely on the two big boys, Iron Man and Captain America, which kind of people expect that to be the case because those have been the two big guys throughout the show. I mean, the cinematic universe. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out how to say this without fucking giving any spoilers. Okay, firstly, it is a great story. Okay, it has an epic scale. It is so epic. Much like in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where you have a team split up, this has teams split up on multiple locations, not going to say where. And watching characters who have never met each other meet each other is absolutely hysterical. Leads to a lot of compromising situations and a lot of confusion and a lot of who are you kind of situations, and that is brilliant. It's so fantastic watching someone like Doctor Strange meet Peter Quill for the first time, Star-Lord, and watching someone like Drax meet Spider-Man as well, for that matter, or even Iron Man. So yeah, that is great. It gives a lot of fan service here, and you will be going yes like this when you see it, because again, directed by the Russo brothers, this is so well done. The pacing is very, very good. One or two scenes where it slows down a little bit, but I think you need it to sort of catch your breath. Other side of things, it's very, very, there's a lot of tonal shift in this. So you'll be in a very serious moment, and dark, this is dark, okay? Kind of Winter Soldier level dark in this. So it's quite harrowing in certain scenes. So the way that they would jump from one dark bit into another part of the mission or a plot where it's not so dark, you would think it would be jarring, because, you know, Marvel's kind of been accused of this before, where they are on a solid, you know, emotional, intense moment, and then suddenly, boom, someone makes a joke. There are moments like that in this. Of course, it's marvelous. It works. The machine is where it is right now because those particular parts do work. But the Russo guys, they certainly bring it down a notch compared to other directors here. So some great, some really, really heavy moments, and some absolutely sort of side-splitting moments where I was laughing and everyone else was laughing so much you actually just missed the other jokes that came afterwards. And, you know, typically they would be the sort of Guardians of the Galaxy bunch because they're the crazy guys, and they certainly do go quite crazy over here. They might go a little too crazy in certain things, because you kind of like think about the characters as being a little bit like goofish compared to sort of their compatriots like, you know, I don't know, Iron Man. He's also goofy, but he's got a weight of the world of his soul, on his shoulders. Or even Captain America. So you've got some heavy, heavy things like that happening, even like with Doctor Strange. And then suddenly you have, you know, these characters who don't really have, like Mantis, for example, she doesn't have a serious role in this. She does have a serious role in the plot, but I mean, as in the way the way she's portrayed. So there is some jarring over there, but most of the time it's pretty well done. Of course, we go back to Wakanda, which we've seen in all the trailers. And of course, we've got Chadwick Bronson once again reprising the role of Black Panther, which is fantastic. We have people in the back cheering when this happens. Well, it's African, I suppose, and they're African. So, yeah, Wakanda and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, storyline great. A lot of tonal shifts in this, as I say. You get to see some of the best CGI in this. Iron Man's new suit, not going to go into detail, is fantastic, as is Spider-Man's. And then you have one moment where the CGI really fails. I was saying with Kirby, I was like, what the hell, man? I mean, seriously? This is a $100 million, $200 million movie, $250 million movie. And then there's this one particular scene, I'm not going to, again, no spoilers, where it looks like they've cut and pasted using paint and plopped it onto, you know, the whatever the thing is, okay? And it's quite jarring. It pulls you out of the moment. So I'm quite surprised that in post-production they didn't focus on that, because it's very obvious. I think most people will see that and will pick it up and they'll go, Nick, I know exactly what scene that you're talking about. So that was a little bit disappointing. Thanos, oh, thank God. You know, we've always complained, most movies of Marvel don't really sport the best bad guys. It's kind of like Star Trek, the new revamps. Like, Nero, please, really? But in this, Thanos is so well developed, okay? Josh Brolin does such a good job of this. I don't know how they did the mocapping. I've seen some pictures and stuff. But you really, like, seriously, the guy is obviously completely bloody insane, but you kind of, you know, I was joking around with one of my friends and reviewer, Andrew, hi Andrew, that you could kind of agree with some of his sentiments, even though he is the Mad Titan Thanos, which kind of led Kervin and another guy to say, let's get out of here before Nick and Andrew decide to enact what Thanos was trying to do, or does, for that matter. So, yeah, he is brilliant, very emotional. There's a lot of backstory to him too. As I say, you kind of get his motivations, and you kind of can understand his motivations, even though they are harsh and they are harrowing, what his plans are, which are crazy, crazy plans. The stones were brilliantly done, getting the stones. So, yeah, again, this is so difficult to talk about without giving spoilers. And again, guys, please don't give spoilers to anybody else, okay? There's a lot of dickheads out there who are doing this right now because they want to feel that they have some sort of role in this universe, like I don't know, stone on a gauntlet. Guys are losers, by the way. But we had actually a rep say at the very beginning of the screening, please guys, obviously no cell phones, we're not going to take pictures of this. It's raining outside. But don't give spoilers away, because there are so many things that happen in this that are just spoiler territory, because either you see it coming from a mile away or you don't see it coming from a mile away, but you're going to walk out there just going like you've been through, like it's like watching you know, A Quiet Place. It's shocking, some of the stuff that happens, and it's good that it happens, because it makes it feel like this movie actually has, you know, there's something that you're going to lose here. It has something Unlike other Marvel movies where you think, oh, it's going to happen, it's very generic, the other movies. This is not generic. And this is one thing I think the Russo brothers did such a good job of. I know they didn't write the entire thing, but they really did put the movie of the Marvel machine on its head. It's very different to the other Marvel movies. And I think that's refreshing. Of course, there is a second part of this coming next year. They're already in post-production right now. Hopefully they won't have such bad CGI. It's only one moment, by the way. It's just one scene that has it, and it's pretty... God, it's terrible. I don't know why I didn't catch that. But we have another one coming up, of course, and this sets that up very, very well. Not going to say any more than that. You can kind of see the hype, that, hype train kind of story. You can see that this is worth it. I don't think I saw the last two trailers. I didn't want to see, because a lot of it can be given away. But the nice thing about Marvel and what Disney does also with Star Wars is they put a lot of fake things in the trailers. So the things that you've been seeing, some of the things are real, and the other things are just not. Apparently, Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, of course, he was even given a fake script. So he didn't even know what was actually going to happen at the end. And luckily he didn't actually, because in a couple of interviews he's dropped bombs from his script that he thinks is real, which turned out to not be real. So thank goodness for that. So yes, if you want to watch one of the biggest movies that I think I've ever seen, I can't think of another movie that equals this. Other movies, you've got 2 or 3 people, big stage, like Star Wars, for example, and you follow those through, maybe even 3 or 4. But we're looking at a massive cast over here. People who've been developed over 3 or 4 movies, even more movies, as a matter of fact. And it's really great to see this come together in such a powerful way. I want to go and watch it again, like now. The moment I walked out the cinema curve, and I was like, I actually want to go straight back in, right now. Because there's so much going on that you do miss some of the stuff, usually because you're laughing. Or because you're in shock. So yes, go out and watch this. I'm giving it a 9. I can't believe I'm giving a Marvel movie a 9 out of 10. So I would love to know what you guys think. Please let us know in the comments below. Don't give spoilers away, guys. Please don't do that on the internet, okay? This is a movie. It's like going and watching The Sixth Sense and having some punk an hour before say, oh, guess what? He's dead. I think 20 years is enough time for me to get away with saying something like that about it, okay? But please, so don't do that, right? I'm really stressing that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm looking forward to Coven's review because he knows a lot more about the comics. I'm more of a casual when it comes to this. I only watch the movies. I haven't really been the comic boy ever, actually. So he's going to have great difficulty writing about this because he's going to go in depth without saying anything. So like I've been waxing lyrical right now and trying not to say anything, I'm just trying to say it's great. Absolutely brilliant. It's going to blow your bloody minds. And it's everything that we were expecting and more. Catch you guys later.